The best way for a beginner guitar player to increase their skills efficiently and effectively, at least in my opinion, is to get really good at syncing up their picking hand with their fretting hand, with their brain, right? The mind-muscle connection. So that when we want this hand to do something, it does it. When we want this hand to do something, it does it. And they, work in tandem, and they're, a well-oiled machine, that works in unison, right? And I really do wish that this was something that somebody had stressed the importance of earlier on in my guitar playing journey. Later on, a few years into my journey, somebody said, you gotta get your picking dialed in. You gotta get, synced up. Things are sounding so choppy and fragmented. And I really, really appreciated that, because once I did start implementing things like this, the warm-up I'm about to show you, that is such a great way to get into your session and clean things up on the front end of your session. Once I implemented these things, I really do feel like my skills leveled up significantly and relatively quickly. And you can recognize the difference, a lick like this, something really simple, ultimately, right, as you get further in your career, right, further in your guitar playing journey, well, somebody could play it, a little bit more clean like that. I'm not saying I'm the greatest guitar player, the cleanest guitar player, right? But when you hear an intermediate or a beginner player, right? Because there are plenty of intermediates who need to clean things up. You can tell when it's choppy and it's fragmented and something sounds off, and you can tell when you're hearing something that sounds, like I said earlier, like a well-oiled machine. So that's what we're really doing today, is we're going through a warm-up that takes 15 minutes. You can adjust things because each exercise is timed. I think that's the best way to go about things. 15 minutes. If you love playing this instrument, you want to get really good, I do think it's valuable to get these things down. So let's just jump right in. 3 minutes per exercise. We've got 5 exercises. Like I said, it's all about syncing up this hand with this hand, with this beautiful organ, your brain. And that's the deal. They're going to be pretty simple, non-sexy things, but if you stay diligent with this, let's say for 2 months, I think you'll feel much more comfortable with the instrument if you're a beginner. So I'm going to start down here, okay? The first exercise is literally based on, it's like the most basic representation of what you would call a spider walk. Yeah, the spider exercise. But we're just going to call it exercise 1. Sorry for the brain fart. When I get to the top, right, I just come back down in the opposite direction. Now, in the description, there's a PDF. If you know this channel, I always give free resources. There's a free download for a PDF that has all of these exercises, so you don't have to come back to this video every time you want to try this out. Like I said, I think you should hit this every time you pick up your instrument if you're really trying to level up. So if that's you, download the PDF. I'm not going to make you come back to this video just because you want to try out this routine every day. All right, but in the PDF, you'll see that as we get to the high E, we scooch up, right? So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We go 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. And then we'll scooch up again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. You don't have to do it that way. So if you're brand new, this might be a little uncomfortable down here, right? Because I'm going to give you a note on this in a second. That'll make it a little more challenging. You can come up here, right? Think, let's say 10th fret might be a comfortable spot, right? The frets are closer together. They're smaller. It's a bigger stretch down here. Because what I think is really helpful, and this is, kind of a traditional element of the spider walk, is leaving all your fingers down as you're going from, low fret to higher fret. before you transfer to the next string, right? So all my fingers are pressed down, and then I transfer, and I leave each finger down as I, go up the fretboard. So I'm leaving the index finger down, I'm leaving the middle finger down, ring finger down, and then I get to the pinky, they're all pressing down, and then same thing. And that might be difficult and more challenging down here. It is more challenging. And it might be outside of your wheelhouse, and that's totally fine. Okay? But there's exercise 1. And last thing, we're alternate picking. Okay? Such a big part of guitar. Play that a little bit more clean, right? A big part of getting good at playing things in a fluid manner is really, strong and clear and accurate and just confident alternate picking. So down, up, 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 so on and so forth. Every single one of these exercises is going to be just alternate picking, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that is something, right? You'll see a lot of people rely on down picking. And you can hear that it's super fragmented and choppy when someone approaches lead guitar and things like that with just down picking. Okay? So there's exercise 1. Great. Done and dusted, we're moving on. Exercise 2, we're going to, isolate our fingers. And I'm going to start down here again, but like I said in the first exercise, you can play it anywhere. We're going index and middle finger. Once we go up and down with just index and middle, we are going index and ring. Once you go index and ring, you guessed it, we're going index and pinky. All right. Now, you can use the exercise just like that, and you can scooch up 1 fret each time. Now, if you're feeling comfortable with that, and you want to, throw a wrench into how you approach this, you can then work the opposite way. All right, so come back down using the pinky as the starter. Much funkier, right? Pinky to middle. All right, and that really ends up being the only repetition is pinky and index. But starting with the pinky and having those combos is really funky. So if you're not ready for it, that's okay. If you are ready for it, go for it. If it's a little outside of that realm of possibility, just go really slow. Look at your picking hand, look at your fretting hand. It's all good, right? When we're beginners, we need to sound everything out. So don't think it's an issue if it's, taking you a second to sound things out. That's all good. That's part of the process. And like I said, your hands will be feeling great already at this point, right? If you've set a 3-minute timer for that first exercise, you set a 3-minute timer for this second exercise, you'll be feeling great. And again, just like the first exercise, when you see it in the PDF, right, the download, you'll see that I'm scooching up, right? So once we finish the exercise up here, you'll actually come up to the 5th fret and you'll restart the exercise scooched up, because if you do start getting proficient, I don't know, it just keeps things a little more interesting to move around the fretboard a little bit, even if it's just a smidge, right? And again, you can move up here if that's more comfortable, okay? So there's exercise 2, we're moving, right? If you can see the value of this and you understand that this will benefit your playing, you're a beginner who wants to get great at this instrument, do make sure to actually like the video, right? Click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I've got lots of good stuff on this channel already. I will have lots of good stuff coming out moving forward, and liking and subscribing gets it out to more people, and helps me stay on this path of making helpful guitar videos for all of you, okay? So anyways, there is exercise 2. Exercise 3, again, these are all kind of like iterations of one another. Now, I think that one can be kind of tough. Same thing, this one might be more difficult for you, might be less difficult. You can rearrange the order if you need to. But we're going index middle, index ring, index pinky, index ring, index middle. And just like on the other exercise, as we come down, we reverse the order with our pinky, it's more difficult. And I'll just move that up starting on the 5th fret, just like we're gonna do when I show you in the tabs. Right? Pinky, ring, pinky, middle, pinky, index, pinky, middle, pinky, ring. Right? So if you're, using a metronome on the way down and it's feeling good, I do always recommend using a metronome. If you're not sure how to use one, my best advice in this situation, literally to help things click, no pun intended, click track, is to just set one. Dink, 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 dink. You can use a drum track as well. There's a lot of apps if you want to just use your iPhone, or you can use an old school. This is the Pro Beat old school style metronome, and I'll turn this on and just really quickly, since it's here, show you, right, why things might be a little funkier on the way down, because the pinky, that opposite direction is more difficult. Hear it out first, if you want an example of how to use this thing. Like I said, going down can be a lot more difficult. Anyways, really important to play with the metronome, and certainly play with something slower than you feel is necessary. Now, this is a great reminder, if I did want to play with the metronome, well, I might instinctively say, oh, I should play faster than what I just laid down. But, you might have been able to hear, I'm rushing a bit, right? And part of that is recording and, wanting to make sure I do things right. But I could have really gotten in a pocket in a better way with that. That was 70 BPM, all right? So be slower, because it's really important to get relaxed with the rhythm you're playing in, okay? Anyways, there is exercise 3. There was an example with the metronome, pretty simple to just get something going and play in rhythm with it, okay? Exercise 4, right? We're continuing on with the same kind of style that we've been going with, right? Just every finger's got to get working, and we've got to go alternate picking. So what we're going to do is we're going to play 4 notes, and then we're going to scooch up on that same string. I think the 12th fret is a good cutoff, but you can absolutely go to the 15th or 17th or 19th or 21st if you want to. And then when you get there, so on and so forth until you get back to the 1st fret. Well, what if you finish one string before the 3 minutes are up? Go to a different string. There are some differences, the subtle differences from string to string, right? That was D string. always be playing with your dynamics, so really light. Sorry for the blemishes there. Play around with, that picking hand. I always think the lighter would be the better approach, because oftentimes we kind of over squeeze and over choke the neck. So just keep that in mind. But exercise 4, very simple, just scooching up one fret at a time. Now, in the PDF, it's just on the D string, but obviously the same rule applies to the low E, the A string, the B, the high E, all that stuff, okay? So there's already 4 exercises. So now you're 12 minutes in. Even though, like I've said, this isn't the fanciest, the sexiest thing ever, the most flavorful thing, it's a bit monotonous. But the whole point, especially when we're new, is just to get time, time under tension, so to speak, with these skills, the most simple things, and really making sure that all these fine motor skills are, rocked up, ready to go. All right, so the last exercise I do think is the funkiest. So we're gonna go index finger on the 1st fret, and then ring finger on the 3rd fret. So, and then pinky on the 4th fret, and middle finger on the second fret of the A string, right? We're skipping strings. So 1st fret, index finger on the low E, ring finger, 3rd fret of the A. 4th fret, pinky on the low E, middle finger, 2nd fret of the A string. Sorry for all of the misspeaks and brain farts. Then A string, right? So 1st fret. Right? So just going up. Once you get the pattern down, it'll make more sense, but as you can see, you need to kind of think and look to get that down correctly. And then you guessed it, on the way back down, if that's, making you work, right? You want it to be a really valuable 3 minutes, so don't feel like you have to, do the pinky version on the way down. I'll sneak up a fret and come back down that way. Right? Pinky, 5th fret, middle finger, 3rd fret on the B string. So high E, B, high E, 2nd fret, index finger, 4th fret, ring finger on the B string. Right? So funky, starting from the pinky finger. And there it is. Once you do 3 minutes on each, you're golden. 15 minutes. Listen, there will be times where you might not want to use this routine because it's monotonous. You just want to jump into the fun stuff. And of course, that keeps things fresh on guitar. That happens to me plenty, where I'm like, I'm just doing a quick thing. Maybe you just choose one of these for 3 to 5 minutes and then you move on. That's totally fine. For those times where you are like, I want to get good at this, right? I don't want to practice, basic arpeggios and things like that. But sometimes you gotta, right? Sometimes you gotta set that 20, 30-minute timer, and that's how I'm starting this session. And it's gonna be simple and monotonous and all that stuff, but it's gonna get me feeling better with the instrument. I'm gonna get more familiar with the neck, with positions and shapes that are really important for my playing, whether it be learning a song that I love or creating my own music and things like that. So anyways, just keep that in mind. But I do think if you can use this and you're feeling inspired to get really good, use this on the front end of your session for at least 8 weeks, 2 months. You can go much further than that and much longer than that if you'd like, but there's also lots of good stuff on this channel, so check all that out too, because once you get 2 months down, you're like, these are feeling good. You might want some different options for your warm-ups and exercises and drills, and obviously this is easy guitar practice, so lots of good stuff on here. So there's my plug to check other things out. Anyways, use it, put it in your toolbox, save it for a rainy day, right? Get it under your fingers, get good at it, and then you can mix it in as you see fit. It's a great one, even if you're an intermediate or a little bit more advanced, just to get things moving and grooving, right? Sometimes you just got to shake off the cobwebs. So Anyways, I hope it was valuable. I hope it gave you some good ideas. Thank you for stopping by. I will see you all on the next one. Peace.